The viewing audience understands.
Good evening and welcome to the board meeting of February 12th, 2026. I apologize for being 10 minutes late. We are reconvening this meeting after an executive session. So I'd like you to stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I will now open the floor for comments on agenda items to members of the public. As a reminder, this is a meeting of the Board of Education that is open to the public. If you wish to comment at this meeting, we ask that you please be aware of all the protocols for public comment. The protocols are listed on the back of the public agendas that are available in the meeting room. They're also posted on signage in the meeting room as well as on the district website. Okay, I don't see anybody making comments. The treasurer's report for November is available in the district office. We're going to move to the consent agenda. Mr. Oliverio?
Yes, resolved to approve the consent agenda items 2 through 9 as presented to the board at this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments?
The consent agenda includes approval of minutes, approval of CSE, CPSE placements, a revised 25-26 substitute listing, approval of mid-year in-service credits and graduate credits, approval and amending and approving unpaid work hours for different staff members, appointing a deputy payroll officer for the 25-26 school year, that would be Matthew Sirico, at no additional compensation, approving contracts with Putnam County for real property tax services for next year, Cardinal Hayes School for Special Children for this school year, and Dobbs Ferry Health and Welfare contract for this school year. We're also approving budget transfers over $25,000 for the period December 10th through February 11th, 2026.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolutions pass. We're getting ready for our presentations. This is the 26-27 budget planning presentation on curriculum and instruction.
Thank you very much. So I would like to invite up Ms. Levine, and she'll be joined with by Dr. Payne, Dr. Podesta, and Mr. McCarty during her presentation.
Good evening. Thank you to our Board of Education, Dr. Luft, my colleagues, and our community. Delighted to be here to present our curriculum and instruction budget priorities for our upcoming school year. I am Jackie Levine. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and HR. I'm going to talk a little bit about all of those areas and our budget priorities in those areas this evening. Before I begin, I just want to say how excited I am about our blossoming pre-K program that we have at our elementary school. Earlier this evening, I was able to visit with the Y as they were holding their informational night for the new families that secured a seat in our lottery earlier this winter. And it was just such a wonderful, large group of families who came out to check out their pre-K building and learn more about the program. So I'm fresh off of that, and that was just wonderful to see all those families and meet everyone. All right, let's get into it. So I always like to start our presentations grounding all of us in our mission, vision, and core values here in Putnam Valley. Our mission, the PVCSD, in partnership with our families and community, will ensure that all students are engaged in a challenging, student-focused educational program, understand and assume their responsibility for lifelong learning, work to achieve their personal best, and become productive citizens in a diverse global society. Our goal, our core value for next year is empowerment. That's our focus area, and that is about reflective learners who empower themselves and others to always be better. And of course, our vision, the child first and foremost. We are building a foundation for the future, giving each child what they need to be successful and hit the ground learning. That is always our focus. So that is the lens, those three lenses are through which we look at everything we do in our school district, every program we choose, every teacher we hire. We're always asking ourselves, are we putting the child first and foremost? Are we preparing them for successful futures? And are we empowering them? Are we helping them to stay community community focused, giving them all the opportunities we need, et cetera. So we use those lenses to make all of our decisions as we go forward. And who are our Putnam Valley learners? They are a combination of things. So the three images that you see up before you, the first is our IB learner profile. The learner profile attributes guide the IB program that you know we have at our high school and our middle school. But these are learner attributes that I believe everyone should strive for. Being a good communicator, being an inquirer, being principled, balanced. These are things we want for all children. Now, when you put that alongside the recently adopted New York State Portrait of a Graduate, you might see some familiarity. You might see a couple of words that are the same. You might see some colors that are the same. It's not by accident that the New York State adopted a profile of a graduate that very closely resembles the IB program. So once again, Putnam Valley is ahead of the curve, and even New York State is moving its learners collectively as a state closer to the goals for IB that we have set already for our learners. So we're very happy to report that our Putnam Valley learners are already on the road to being what New York would consider the portrait of a graduate and are meeting a lot of those attributes as we speak in their classes every day. Further, we adopted as a district our core values, and you see them there. And we are working right now on a graphic that brings these three concepts together because we are IB learners, we strive for those attributes, we are New York State residents, and so we are, of course, going to strive for the portrait of a graduate, which we've already established is very close to the IB learner profile. And we have our own Putnam Valley core values that we hold near and dear to our heart. So we are looking for a way to make sure all of these things come together in a simplified graphic for everyone to really capture who is a Putnam Valley learner. Okay. So of course, one of the biggest budget priorities for us instructionally is our staffing, and these are just some of the staffing changes we have. Our instructional retirements you see on the left-hand side, a number of different retirements this year that will be replaced. And then we also have our one resignation, a new teacher who is going to be relocating, so we will have that position available. And we also have a new position. Our middle school Spanish program is expanding, so we are thrilled to report that that is going to be growing as a program because of our IB work. So we need to make sure that the staffing grows with it to ensure that we can fully support all students and have enough sections for our students in all grades.
Jackie, if I can ask you a question.
Of course.
On these retirements, are any positions going to be eliminated, or are we going to fill all the retirement positions?
We are filling the positions.
We
We're
are.
not eliminating. Yes.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Are we planning on repurposing any of these positions? Like, for example, if one going, this is just an example, not filling gen ed elementary school, but moving it to another position, or are we planning on sticking with the,
We are keeping the elementary gen ed position. We're not repurposing
well, I
it
mean,
at this
just
time.
like all of them? Like,
Yeah, no, we reviewed each of the positions. Anytime we have a vacancy created, either during a resignation, because of resignation or retirement, we always examine whether or not there's a possibility for attrition. And in these cases, many of these individuals are sort of standalone or very small groups of positions, or are really vital positions that we don't have any wiggle room to reduce. So, while oftentimes, I think it's been probably many years since we've filled the gen ed position at the high school. Many of the recent retirees have not been replaced. And this is because our math department is probably our smallest of all the departments here at the high school. We have a math teacher leaving, we have to fill it. We don't have the capacity to offer the classes we have without filling that position. But the other ones, like theater manager is one of them, library media specialist is one of them, the senior office assistant, there's only one in that office. So those positions, middle school has 2 reading teachers, they're both retiring. We can't, they kind of provide different services, whether tier 2 and tier 3 services, so there's no possibility to eliminate one of those without drastically impacting. The middle school doesn't have the same level of wiggle room. We have really 3 teachers across each of the departments, except for English, which is a concern, and so we need to fill that position. That's one of the 3 middle school science teachers that we have to fill. So as we go through them, just unfortunately, this doesn't create an opportunity for attrition per se. I would say, if anything, we do expect at the middle school there to be a gen ed position, which is technically being eliminated through attrition, as 6 sections of 6th grade go on to 7th. We're actually going down a section there. So that is 6 to 5. What did I say? Sorry. Sorry, the other way. 5th grade's going down to 5 because they're taking in 4. 6th grade is getting 6 from 5th grade. So
Thank you.
The reason I asked that question is that one of the really key positions, especially here at the high school and for the community as well, is the theater manager. So I see that we will be replacing that individual.
We will.
Yeah, you
It's
have
key. It's key. That theater is run immaculately under Susie Cummings' charges, and I would hate to see any backpedaling on that.
we had a meeting yesterday dedicated solely for the purpose of filling that position, to come up with a job description, taking all of the information that Susie shared with us, the different titles she's had over the years, and figuring out how to best advertise that position. So certainly our attention, and we had 4 of us sitting around the room for over an hour yesterday, coming up with a job description that we think best represents what that job will be.
And I understand, some concerns about, attrition, not replacing people, but we have to, and the public needs to understand this. When somebody leaves with 30 years under their belt, you're not going to hire the next person at that same salary. You're actually saving a lot of money. You're getting some new blood into the system at a much more reasonable cost. We need these positions, and they should remain. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so just to review our enrollment by grade level, we are looking at the numbers on the far right for 26, 27, with a note about 3rd grade. And the reason there's a note there is that, we're talking to the board tonight about the opportunities for grade 3. At this time, if we kept it at our 4 sections, we'd have 4 sections of 24, or if we had 5 sections, we could have 19 students in a classroom. So just for consideration and discussion.
So may I ask a question about that? Because you know I'm all about low class numbers.
You absolutely can, and I'm going to have Dr. Podesta come up here in case she has additional information to share to answer your question.
Perfect. So just a question actually, perhaps for Mr. McCarty as well. If there is attrition in the 5th grade, where is that going? Is it going up? Is it going down? To be able to then support the 3rd grade going into 5 sections, is that the idea? So that there's, it's a cost neutral, right, change, to be able to support 5 sections, because one of the things we have to consider is that in 4 sections of 24, any student in the district could move in at that point, at which we are now at 26 per se, maybe 25 students in a classroom in their first year of testing. So we need to be really cognizant of that. That 3rd grade year is monumental for instruction, and I would certainly like to see us do whatever possible to keep those numbers as low as possible, without, of course, impacting the budget in a really negative way.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know if.
Thank you for that. Just a little bit of background on this cohort who is currently in 2nd grade. Wonderful group of students. In 1st grade, it just so happened people moved, there were some changes. So in 1st grade, those classes were between 16 and 18 each. So going up to the next grade, the children are getting a little older. It went down to 4 sections, being fiscally responsible, looking at the class sizes. So I just did the math after talking to Dr. Luff this afternoon, just looking from June through now, we've had 13 to 15 students move in, because Putnam Valley is a great place to live. So they've moved into that cohort. We've had other students moving in too as well. But why it's affecting that group right now, it's because we do have 4 sections in 2nd grade. So those are the options up there looking at grade 3 right now. Numbers could change up or down, but it would be 4 sections of 24 or 5 which is what it is right now. 4 sections of 24 or 25 in 2nd grade right now.
Okay, very good. And as far as the middle school attrition, like.
So if you're counting sections from K through 6, without increasing the sections in elementary school, assuming we get 5 kindergarten sections in, then the elementary school would stay the same. Since 5th grade is going from 6 sections to 5 sections, it is 1 less teacher.
Right.
So if you count total number of teachers from K to 6, even if you add this section, it would be a wash budgetarily wise.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, perfect. So we can make that happen without an implication to the budget and keep our class sizes low.
Yep, and I'll just add, at this point in any year, we don't know for sure how many kindergarten registrants we'll have, so that's
Right.
always a guessing game. The registrations are, the numbers are there right now, but, you can't predict it for sure.
Okay.
Just going back one slide, sorry, Jackie, you can see the number total for our building. We've lost some bigger class sizes, and, you can see that the numbers are going down a little bit. It doesn't feel like it is because kids are moving in all the time, but the total number, gently going down for our school. And we are very happy to have UPK on our campus and involved in some
Yeah.
of our activities.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good.
Very exciting.
So moving on to our secondary grades and our middle school. And again, all the way on the right-hand side, you'll see our projected numbers for 26, 27. And our high school numbers.
At 7th grade.
Yep.
For next year.
Seventh
Well,
grade, I'm sorry?
How many sections in 6th grade right now at the 140? You have 6. So that will continue the following year?
Well, 7th grade doesn't operate in sections.
It's a
'cause they
little
go to-
different.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they have that cohort, right.
So
Okay.
we anticipate being able to serve the same number of students with the staff we have.
Okay. Okay.
It's interesting to see, for example, 5th grade losing 4 and 6th grade to 7th losing 5. That it's decreasing in middle school, but increasing in elementary.
Mhm. Okay. So we're going to get into the different initiatives that are our focus area. As we talk about these, I want to remind the board, there are so many different areas of work and support going on in our schools, but we have specific high priority areas that we're focusing on tonight that remain our initiatives that we stay laser focused on, because we recognize that doing too many things at once doesn't make anyone successful. So we want to call attention to these particular areas. The building leaders are joining me tonight to share a little bit about each of their buildings and the work that's going on there. So I'm going to invite back up Dr. Margaret Podesta.
And you can see in the picture the big hit this year, Mr. Mason, who is a wonderful addition to our building in so many ways, very loved by the students and the staff. So the main initiatives that we're looking at the elementary school, along with the work that we do every day, is continued focus on true quality, explicit writing instruction, looking at the benchmarks and the expectations for our young writers, and focusing on the strategies of the writing revolution. Our small building writing team just met today, looked at a whole school writing prompt, went through all of the grade levels K through 4, looking at our continuum carefully and our rubrics. That's just outstanding work, and the children are showing it. I think you remember last spring, Mrs. Burdett's first graders came in and kind of blew you away with their writing at the end of first grade, and that is, we're building on that all the time. So that's a continued initiative. We are also looking at a new universal screener, the Dibbles M8, which has been highly researched and proven to be a true data point for schools. I had been to a conference up in Albany, and one of the professors had said, if you don't have a universal screener, of course we have iReady, grades 2 through 4, we use our reading levels for NSGRA, but this Dibbles M8 was highly recommended, and so we will get training with that. Our classroom teachers will get to know their young readers in a universal screener type of researched way, and it's quick, it's efficient, and it just gives us information for who needs what kind of support. Also, Foundations, which we use with Fidelity, K through 3, has a 4th grade component now. And we're very excited to find that it's extremely teacher-friendly, it's extremely student-friendly. We're really continuing that phonics and word study, but the vocabulary is a large piece of it. So we'll be excited to take that on with our 4th grade teachers who haven't even seen it yet, but they're such a great group of teachers, and you know, we want to build that literacy. We're introducing a vocabulary word tier 2 every morning on the morning announcements, and just really focusing on that. And then our literacy curriculum review team continues to just really analyze all of the literature components that we use teaching reading and writing through K through 4. It's not a literacy curriculum choosing team. We have Scholastic. We're in a contract with Scholastic. We pull in Hegarty. We pull in Foundations, Wordly Wise. We have so much going on with literacy, but this team is really dissecting it, and we're using the Reading League's chart to see where any red flags might be that are not in line with the science of reading. I'm happy to say we don't really have red flags. We made up our own term called yellow flags, things that might need a little more attention in classrooms or a little more PD for teachers. And so this has been great work. Liz Brines led the way. She came in and helped train us how to do this. I've shared it at our principals meeting at BOCES to say how you get going. It's hard work. It's tedious. It takes time. You're looking through materials. You're talking to colleagues, but you learn so much from it. So that continues into next year, I am sure.
Margaret? Are you going to do the DIBELS in addition to iReady? So they'll do both, have two?
Yeah, I think especially for the first year, our iReady is only 2 through 4, and it's math and reading, and the children take the exam on the Chromebook. This is sitting with the teacher, the classroom teacher.
Okay.
It's a 5 to 7 minute check.
Okay.
So I will do both next year. Yeah.
I just want to say that the additions to these already wonderful literacy initiatives are so well done. I just looked up DIBELS 8 to see what they provide, and they're very similar to AIMSweb, and being able to not only benchmark students but progress monitor them in a CBM, right, a curriculum-based measure that's, you know, a very short amount of time to get a snapshot of if a student is growing and if the curriculum in fact is moving them forward. And many schools do not have that as a measure because they don't truly understand what assessment needs to look like. And it seems like we now have a more complete assessment portfolio for our students, for teachers to then make decisions about where they will go instructionally, which is really exciting. I'm also super excited to hear about Foundations 4 coming in. They also have a 5th grade portion, so I'm going to just throw that out there, Travis. But it is very teacher friendly, and it is more condensed, and it does have an incredible focus on word work and word work in the sense of vocabulary, understanding the roots of words and where they come from, and how to be able to build on them through, you know, prefixes and suffixes. So just so incredible to see the portfolio continue to grow in literacy. It is not ever a silver bullet, and I think that you guys, if it would be a silver bullet, you have found it. So thank you so very much.
Thank you
That's
so much.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Podesta. And yes, to follow up, there is a Foundations 5, and we have started our work with diving into the science of reading at the middle school level. Travis will talk a little bit more about that tonight,
Okay.
and I can answer any questions. Because the state hasn't yet given the depth of literacy review and resources that they have for pre-K 3, we have been kind of doing it on our own and investigating on our own a little bit and learning as we go. And our middle school will talk a little bit about the literacy review they're doing right now, as well as the science of reading workshops teachers are starting to attend more frequently. And I will be examining the Foundations 5 to see if it is a good fit for our teachers before I ask our teachers to unpack it and see if it's a good fit for them. But I have high hopes, and Foundations has yet to let me down. So I firmly believe in the program. I think that it's been wonderful for our elementary school school. As you know, we developed a foundations facilitator because of how much we want to support that work and make sure that our teachers have what they need. So it would be great to expand it up if it feels like a good fit for our teachers. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Travis McCarty, our principal of the middle school, to talk a little bit more about our middle school initiatives.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I just want to start off by addressing our initiatives. Starting with our IB Middle Years program work, we appreciate all of the support of our board and our two IB Middle Years program coordinators, Stephanie Tricala and Mary Kay Cohen, who continue to work with our staff on a weekly basis. So they dive right in, they work with our grade level teams, and all of our content area teachers, writing units. And our goal by the end of this year is to have at least 2 full units, and we upload that into a program called Toddle, which is like an electronic curriculum mapping system. And what's really neat about it is you can see the grade levels and where their units are month by month, and you can look for any areas for growth. So if we're not addressing some sort of approaches to learning, then those areas are addressed with those curriculum coordinators. So this is ongoing work, and they actually upload student work. And once we are up for reevaluation in 3 more years, they will come and take a look at all that work that we've done on Toddle. So we're continuing to grow. Our hope is by year 5 to have a full year's worth of units kind of mapped, but we're starting off and continuing our work. They came in, we became authorized, and really their minimum they were looking for is at least a unit. Now we're growing to at least 2 units, and then next year will be 3, 4, 5. That is our hope across the board with our IB work. And, you know, some of the challenges have been, you know, retirements, new teachers, so getting them on board where some of our staff has been here for the full length of time. So just building in those systems. And again, Stephanie and Mary Kay have done a tremendous job. We actually have a meeting tomorrow with them. So we meet twice a month to discuss the progress we're making. Science of Reading, as Jackie mentioned, our new term in reading is kind of starting in the elementary school and kind of moving up to middle. We have sent a couple of staff members to workshops lately at BOCES just to learn more and to make sure that we are investing in more vocabulary and comprehension skills. And a couple of areas that continue to come up for us is teaching explicit vocabulary, which we do through WordlyWise, but also informational texts. And we're trying to weave more of that in, especially in our older grade levels. And of course, we use iReady. So for those of you that don't know, we do our iReady benchmark assessments 3 times a year, and we have data meetings to look at the growth of our students. It's a pretty good projection of how our kids are going to do on our New York State assessments. So we really appreciate the feedback that the program provides for us. And then the kids have something called MyPath, where they practice their areas of growth during our academic study classes, and teachers, our ELA teachers and our math teachers, can assign skills for them to work on in their classes as well as in our academic study classes. Science curriculum and assessments. I mentioned to the board earlier this year that we've purchased a couple of workbooks that are more aligned to the next generation science standards. We're continuing to do our investigations across the board, and our science teachers are really collaborating well on those standards that they're addressing. The one thing that's unique to the science curriculum is it's 6 through 8. So the kids that are measured in 8th grade, we share that responsibility. And as I mentioned to the board earlier, that 5th grade assessment is shared with grades 3, 4, and 5. So it's really divvying up those standards and spiraling our work because it's not necessarily based on content. It's a reading assessment with the content being science. So they really have to look at charts, data, and kind of put it all together for claims. And I'm seeing everything kind of pushed down for what we used to learn in older grade levels. They're now learning younger and younger and younger, and having that pressure. Writing instruction across content areas. So Ms. Zecca is heading our writing kind of push, in which we are looking at writing across science, writing across social studies, in math, and just asking for the same requirements across the board. We find that when kids go from content area to content area, those expectations in ELA classes, the kids kind of shy away from in those other content areas. For instance, like on a science lab, they might put 1 or 2 word answers as opposed to writing a full sentence, providing the details and such. So just that common language across our content areas and having those same expectations is key. In the elementary school, when kids have the same teacher all day, those expectations are carried across those content areas. As they go up to 5th and 6th grade, there's a few more teachers, but then in 7th and 8th grade, they have different teachers for every subject. So those writing expectations across the content areas are key. And then finally, executive functioning. So we have some modules that we've been sharing with our staff during our professional development days that Dr. Levine brought in earlier in September. And our teachers are able to kind of dabble in those modules to then apply it to our students. So that's kind of another area or initiative that we're pairing up with our IB work. Questions, comments? Great. Thank you all.
No,
Travis, I'm sorry. Can you talk a little bit about...
It's just a joke to think you were going to sit down.
I have good wait time, Sam.
the Spanish instructor? I see that we're going to add another... this
We
will
are.
go down to the lower grades?
Yes, so we currently offer Spanish in 6th grade, year 1 of our middle years program IB work. And what's happening is with Mandarin Chinese kind of filtering out, now all of our students are taking Spanish. And we have some larger sections coming up. So although we only have 4 sections in 8th grade, we're going to have 6 sections in 7th grade, and we're going to have 6 sections in 6th grade. So that need exists. And I love that we're adding to our language programs. Anyone knows a Spanish teacher out there, please encourage them to apply. It is a field in which we're seeing smaller and smaller numbers of certified staff.
And it's so important, it really is. And I keep saying this over and over again, and I know I'm repeating myself, but we're in a bilingual country. We truly are. And I want to see our Spanish-speaking youngsters speaking English, and our English-speaking youngsters speaking Spanish. That would be just ideal, I believe, especially considering the makeup and homogeneity of all our kids together. Thank you. I love that you're doing this.
Absolutely. Bless you. Thank you all.
thanks,
Thank you.
Travis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty. And I just want to add a note about that executive functioning and its critical importance at this point in our students' journey through school. The more we can develop the executive function of their brains through regular practice, through intentional teaching, the explicit instruction of those approaches to learning that Mr. McCarty mentioned in the IB program, the better our students will be and the more successful they'll be as they get older. So we're really working on that. We have a partnership with IDE, which if you're familiar with Dr. Nancy Sulla, she does a lot of work. She used to do work with the LATIC model and other models models of that nature. And so she has a lot of content and material about executive functioning in her platform. And so we have modules in that and also project-based learning. So our teachers have choice during their PD hour to continue writing their MYP units, which is an expectation anyway, or if they want to use that hour to dive into executive functioning or PBL, they can do that as well. So that opens up choice and opportunity to our teachers while also focusing on areas of need for our middle school. And we are moving on to our high school. And here with me tonight is Dr. Letitia Payne. Mr. Matt Mello, our principal, could not be here. So Dr. Letitia Payne was kind enough to say she would join our presentation this evening and talk a little bit about our high school initiatives. So Dr. Payne.
Thank you and good evening. So at the high school, we are continuing our middle years program implementation. We have Kat Schutz that's actually working with our teachers right now within our building, you know, in a collaborative way. We're going to continue that work into next year. We're looking to add an additional coordinator to support the authorization process as we move into planning for the spring of 2027. So that's one budgetary item that we'll be working on. We also will be continuing to send some of our teachers to IB workshops so that we can continue to improve on the programs. And you know, each year, couple of years, some of the subject areas, they change the curriculum that's within the programs to refresh it. So we want to make sure our teachers are abreast of that information. We're also, like in the middle school where they have the Toddle learning management system, we are now including that into our high school so that the teachers would be able to collaborate their unit planning using the Toddle system. They also will have access to rubrics and learning materials within the Toddle system. Also, we're going to be examining grading practices and policies. We started about 2 years ago where we were reading a book together as a staff, Grading for Equity, and we're continuing that conversation. I know that even in our building steering committee, we have engaged in that conversations with families, students, and staff. And so as a staff, we're also continuing to work on how we're going to align grading and practices within the high school. Jackie referred to, you know, our New York State is looking at the portrait of the graduate. Financial literacy and climate literacy are requirements. Financial literacy is expected of the high school in the 2026-2027 school year. We do have our economics program, but we're also looking to make sure that we have it integrated maybe throughout some other courses that we have within the high school. The climate literacy, they look for it to be in 2027, 2028. So next year will be a year of planning to ensure that we can integrate and embed it within our curriculum for the new year. Okay.
Letitia, will that be climate literacy? Will that be like in a science class?
It can be within a science class, or it can be a standalone curriculum program, but that's next year would be a year to start to plan and see where would we place that within our courses.
Okay, thank you.
Can you give us a quick synopsis of the direction that climate literacy will be going in? I mean, are they going to be talking about EVs and stuff like that, or?
Come out with it yet?
I can answer that for you, Sam. We actually don't have the guidance yet from the state to know what they're expecting. I'll be touching on New York Inspires in a little bit and some thoughts about where that is headed. But at this time, we don't have enough.
I love weather.
I'd love to answer the question, but I don't have enough
It's a great
information.
hobby. But weather is different sometimes when the political winds influence an area.
You are
So essentially, the
correct.
state
Well
has
said.
not yet disclosed what that even entails.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
while she said she knows the
I'll
answer, her answer she knows is that we don't know the answer.
Correct.
Because we're waiting for them to
Thank
tell
you,
us.
thank you.
New York State consistently doesn't tell us what they want.
Are there any further questions for the high school?
So does every teacher that teaches, whether they teach in the middle years program or IB, have to go out for training, or do we send a few people and then they turnkey and train others? Like, how does that?
Currently, right now, for the middle years programs, Kat is working with the teachers directly within our school building during our collaborative periods, and then depending on the different subject areas, they'll be sent out for IB training.
Okay,
The requirement is to have one trained for each department.
okay.
Is what IB looks for when they come to do authorization.
So, like, in the middle school, for the ninth, 10th, and 10th grade? So they will have a coordinator, like, in the English department?
No, so we have to send out like an English teacher, math teacher, or a
Subject
language
area.
teacher,
Alright.
subject area
Okay.
teachers. And then they come back and work with their colleagues and the coordinator to build out their
Develop it
lessons from there.
Okay, good.
And when new teachers come on board, what does their IB training look like? I know that you do an amazing orientation with them, Jackie, but IB is a lot to unpack for a teacher that might be walking into an IB course in September. So what does that look like?
So that's such a great question. And what happens right now is the coordinator will work with that new teacher to develop units, to assess whether or not they need to go to training. Perhaps no one in their subject area has gone to training. Maybe that person is replacing the person who went for training.
Right.
So they may need to go out for training
Okay.
if they're the last in the content area. But they get direct support through their coordinator and time during PD hour and superintendent conference day to not only learn, but to also get guidance in developing their unit, especially if they don't yet have one available to them in something like Toddle or that's been written the year before.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Jackie, one more question
Yes.
just about the curriculum piece. That curriculum is consistently undergoing revision, right? Is that a regular
IB?
process?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and do you mean by IB itself or our own?
I mean the IB units that are being created for the courses.
Oh,
are
yes.
they
So a
consistently
big
revised?
part of IB is the reflection process. So teachers are constantly looking back at their unit, reassessing, reevaluating, reflecting. That's what's beautiful about IB is that the teachers are regularly going back to look at their units and rewriting those units based on either whether it's shifts that come particularly from IB or things that they know did or did not work in the classroom and they want to change it or just make it better. So yes, they are consistently looking back. Those units aren't written and done forever. The whole purpose of IB is to be a reflective learner. So you are always revisiting.
Very good, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so to talk a little bit about the ways in which we are keeping up with the state, the science of reading, and again, the science of reading is a term used to discuss the body of research that has emerged about the brain and how it learns how to read. So it is not a program the way Scholastic or Foundations is a program. So what we're really doing when we're talking about science of reading is understanding the research and how that gets practiced and applied in the classroom to better help students learn how to read. So that's about taking code-based skills, which is like phonics, and meaning-based skills, which is comprehension, and putting those things together, teaching children how to decode words and encode, and teaching them then how to put all of that together to better understand or write. So we are working on that K-12. We are kind of learning a little bit on our own right now in some grades. We have a lot of explicit guidance from the elementary school, but we don't necessarily have explicit guidance in the secondary areas. Our BOCES, local BOCES partners are starting to come out with some great secondary-oriented workshops and opportunities for teachers to learn more, resources for teachers to learn more. But we are doing a lot of work independently as our middle and high school to better understand what does that mean for middle and high school teachers and what does it mean specifically in the classroom, what we're doing right now, and how does that have to change. So it's a learning process. We're learning new things all the time. Sometimes something comes out that sounds really good, and then all of a sudden people bring it back and say, oh, never mind, that wasn't so good anymore. So everybody's learning, everybody's evolving, and the area is evolving, the research is evolving. So, and we learn more and more about the brain every day. So that's where we stand with the science of reading and that New York State initiative. Our district initiatives, these are some of the newer initiatives that I'm speaking about tonight. There's still a lot of work going on that I've mentioned in previous presentations, but these are of the newer items that we have adopted and are moving forward with. So we have our Culture and Discipline Committee, and which Barbara sits on as a member of the board. She is there as well, and that is composed of teachers and leaders. It's facilitated by a consultant who comes in to support us in having conversations, and the effort of that team is to come up with guiding principles that everyone will be guided by in terms of our discipline and support for students and the overall culture of our school buildings. Our STEPS plan, so that is new, and that is replacing APPR. So in the past, you've heard about APPR, which is how we supervise and evaluate teachers, instructional staff, and principals. And the state has given us until 2032 to come up with a revised version of APPR based on the teaching standards that they've set, teaching and leadership standards. So there are 7 standards. We have to use a rubric to evaluate teachers based on those standards. It doesn't mean we can't use our Danielson rubric, which we've been using. We can, but right now we have a STEPS plan team that is meeting regularly to develop this plan and submit it to the state. We are ahead of the game. We're actually really close to coming up with the terms we're going to agree upon as a district. I have a number of teachers, including our head building mentors, on this team to help me work on this, and I anticipate being able to have a new plan in place by next school year. So more to come on that, but that is just, again, how we supervise and evaluate teachers. It's the change from APPR. New York Inspires is something we touched on. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a moment. I'm going to show you a timeline that that BOCES and the state has shared with us about what they're expecting and when. But that is the state's new initiative to get everyone on board with the same New York State Portrait of a Graduate, change diploma requirements, and so on. We have a new mentoring plan, which I'm very excited about. Our new mentoring plan includes moving from a single-year induction program, even though there's a 4-year tenure track. We only had specific mentoring, single one-on-one mentoring outlines for 1 year, and then a head building mentor to support teachers for the remainder of their time. What we've added is in their second year, they will take a course that'll be led by a teacher, a teacher here who's actually studying a course to deliver to them, and the course is called Studying Skillful Teacher. And if you're familiar with this course or this book, it is a book that has a lot of research behind it. It is the gold standard of what instructional practice looks like. There's a map of pedagogical knowledge, and it talks about how you take that map of pedagogical knowledge, you build a repertoire of teaching strategies and skills, and you have areas of performance, and you match the repertoire, the skill in your repertoire, to the situation at hand with your student, whether it's a behavioral situation, a curricular decision, just an attention-obtaining move, and you learn how to be a skillful teacher. So our teachers in year 2 will be in that program, and will take that course once a month after school, and then in year 3, they will do a deep dive into literacy and international baccalaureate. So all of our new teachers will better understand the important initiatives going on in our school district and have intensive training there. And their 4th year, they will develop their portfolio, which according to STEPS plan, they kind of have to work on all throughout their 4-year tenure. But that 4th year will be a final development of that portfolio that we can have them share, and will just be a wonderful opportunity for all to really capture what they did in their first 4 years with us. So that's what our mentoring plan looks like now. We're very excited about this. I did this in collaboration with our head building mentors and our instructional specialist, Rob Lathrop. We worked on it over the summer. We introduced it to the union. It was accepted, and we're really thrilled to move forward with it. So I'm super excited about the Studying Skillful Teacher course that'll happen in year 2 for all of our teachers, because that is where we are going to develop high expertise teaching in our newest staff members. Parent learning opportunities, we continue to keep our eyes on the things that parents need to know about what's going on with students, whether it's mental health issues, whether it's AI, whether it's new technologies. So we continue to offer parent learning opportunities to our families, and we will continue to do so in the future with an eye toward, again, more AI instruction. That seems to be something our families are really in need of, as well as how to support when we get our guidance, our guiding principles from our Cultural and Discipline Committee, how to support your children in that, and also training and executive function and what you can do at home to better support your child there. Our co-teaching for instructional support, we're taking a look at our co-teaching teams and how we can better support them with innovative and high expertise co-teaching instructional strategies. So we will be, during our superintendent conference day on March 20th, we will have a training for our teachers that are in co-teaching teams, and then we will have some job-embedded coaching going forward from there. Rob Lathrop is working currently on a lesson study opportunity, which would allow teachers to kind of engage in action research around developing lessons and then delivering them, revising, et cetera. So again, coming at that high expertise teaching skills and strategies from a different angle with teachers that are not necessarily new or untenured, but with tenured faculty and people who may want to engage in a really close look at their lesson development. And of course, very exciting, our facility dog. We have wonderful Mason at the elementary school. I did make an announcement in our newsletter that we had approved title grant money in Title IV for another facility dog that will be specifically assigned to the middle school. So really looking forward to having a secured dog for the secondary campus. And again, this does take time. It took us about a year and some change to get Mason, so I don't know when that will happen, but we're going through the process now of identifying people who are interested in being primary care handlers, applying to Blue Path, getting on their wait list, and hopefully by October of next year, we'll have a Mason and a friend. So,
But
yes.
you do have a pup at the middle school, right, Travis, still?
One of our counselors has a dog that is trained as an emotional support
Right.
dog, but it's not necessarily a dog that comes regularly to school. This would be our dog for our building,
Yeah.
and it would be there daily,
But that
maybe.
pup won't go away, will it? I mean, you will still utilize that pup? No, they
No, but he
become
might
very
he might be able
attached.
to take more breaks.
Yeah, but they do. They become very attached to,
Yes, they
you know,
do.
their routine. And
Yes.
to
Fantastic.
remove that pup from that.
I'm
you know,
sure when
their work.
Murphy comes to visit, Murphy and our new Blue Path dog will get along swimmingly. At least that's my hope. But I do think that we've seen such a benefit in terms of social emotional wellness for our staff and students at the elementary school. I want to be able to replicate that at our
No,
middle
I
and high
agree.
school and have it
Don't
regular.
get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
no, of
think
course,
that's
of
wonderful.
course.
But I don't want to see the pup that's now being utilized at the middle school, like,
Sure.
go away, you know?
Hopefully
Because
not. Hopefully he'll continue to come.
Yeah, no, they really are affected by
And
that.
it'll maximize our canine support.
I mean, you know that, Jackie.
Oh, I know. I know better than anyone how great a dog can make you feel. But yes, we're really, really excited about the opportunity to expand that program and support all three buildings in any way we can. So,
Okay.
Jackie, what the STEPS plan, does STEP stand for something?
It does.
it does.
I don't
And
remember
I'm
what
sorry, I don't remember offhand specifically, but I know
Okay.
one of the
I'm
words
just always
is plan.
curious as to
And one of the words is teaching, and I'm sure the other two words, if I have time, probably
Okay,
maybe performance.
just curious.
We know it?
We use acronyms a
Oh,
lot.
Jeremy knows it. Jeremy's pulling it up right
Jeremy.
now.
Great use of pictures also.
Standards-based educational professional supports.
Wait, there's an extra, wait,
Yet
standards,
another acronym in education.
Standards.
Say that again?
It doesn't make sense.
Standards-based.
I don't know where the T comes from. Standard. I guess it's
ST?
ST for standard. Educator, evaluator, professional supports.
All right.
It's technically
It's not even a good
but
acronym.
okay.
It's not great.
Technically not. It's not working for me.
So,
Good to go.
okay, thank you.
this is the timeline that I was shared at a recent event. Matt Mello and I have been attending a collaborative of sorts at BOCES that has met at least twice already, if not 3 times. And this collaborative, led by Fred Endy and Greg Fredericks at BOCES, is to bring schools together that are trying to unpack the New York Inspires, trying to better understand it, and also feeds us new guidance and new information as it becomes available. Different from other initiatives in the past with the state, we have seen an increased amount of resources, explicit webinar directions, and pamphlets, flyers to be handed out to educators and families and folks. So that's a great thing. New York has been really good so far about sharing what they do know. But there is stuff that we don't have yet. And so among those things are explicit guidance about the particulars for things like the climate literacy. There is the idea that rubrics are coming that will be shared with us next year that are expected to be used, but we don't know much about the rubrics yet. We don't know how the rubrics will be introduced, what time of the year next year they'll be introduced, and they won't be final rubrics until the following year. So we're really still learning a lot about New York Inspires. I don't have a lot of a wealth of information to share. The Portrait of a Graduate has been the big focus this year, rolling that out. Excuse me. Rob Lathrop and I attended a K-5 inquiry-based learning and the Portrait of a Graduate workshop recently to better understand where the state's headed in terms of inquiry-based learning at the elementary level, given we are so focused on explicit direct instruction, and those two things can live together. They just have to live together artfully and with, you know, real intention behind developing the types of lessons and units that bring those two ideas together. But what I will say is that, again, it looks a lot like what we're doing. And I'm so happy to say that. And I know it sounds a little cliche, but it is true. Excuse me.
Jackie, just a question about the financial literacy and climate education requirements. So is that going to be just a high school requirement? I understand that it's supposed to live somehow K through 12.
Yes.
Don't know what that's going to look like, but as far as courses might be concerned,
Yeah.
what would that look like if it's high school or middle school?
It wouldn't necessarily have to live in a course.
Okay.
It could live in a course.
Within a
right.
course.
It doesn't have to
Got
be its
it.
own course, a
Okay.
standalone. So, yes, you are right. It's
Okay.
supposed to be part of the middle school work as well.
Okay.
But it can live in a lot of places.
So it'll be infused into current courses
Yeah.
most
It
likely.
reminds me of the seal of civic readiness, if you
Okay.
will, where they can earn a point in the middle school and then they can keep earning points as they go on through high school through specific work they do.
Okay.
So it reminds me a little bit of that. And I think that's probably where the state is coming from. They want to see this work infused into the curriculum as a child rises through the grades, not just dumped in a single course everybody has to take in senior
Right.
year. So I think they really are intentional about it being part of their educational journey. But what that looks like, we
Okay.
don't know.
Thank you.
Losing my voice, but that's okay. Okay. I'm really proud to report PV is still leading in so many ways. Dr. Luft is the president-elect of the Lower Hudson Council of School Superintendents. We like to joke he's the king of the superintendents. We say king. I was elected the Region 3 representative for the American Association of School Personnel Administrators. I sit on that board, and I also sit on the NYSED Plan Pilot Professional Learning Work Group. So I've had a front row seat on the work that the state has been doing in a different lens for several years now. And so that work is continuing, but, and the New York State Inspires is not necessarily a product of that, but they do come together because the Plan Pilot was looking at 3 different models of school, one of them being IB program schools. And of course, here we are now looking at the New York State Portrait of a Graduate, and they call it inquiry-based learning, but it's always been very aligned with what IB does. So that was one of the reasons I joined the work group years ago, and I continue to stay on that group. Dr. Grace Chan over here is a board member on New York Cooperative Liquid Asset Security System, New York class. I had to look up what that meant, so I know that one. So Grace is on that board. Dr. Podesta leads the P&W Principals Forum, and she serves as a SANES trustee for our region. And our region is pretty big, isn't it? It's a pretty big region. And that's the School Administrators Association of New York State. So you can ask me about a lot of acronyms. I know some of them. Travis McCarty is the leader of the P&W Secondary Principals Network. That's middle school and high school. That's a new development this year. Congrats, Mr. McCarty. And Letitia Payne continues to lead the P&W Assistant Principals Network. So Putnam Valley leaders have their finger on the pulse of and lead other school leaders, district and building level, and nationally. So we're very fortunate here. We have a lot of involvement at the state, local, and national level, and that helps to make sure Putnam Valley priorities are always centered, and we have a laser focus on what's coming down the pipe so that we can be prepared. And of course, our students are leaders too, and we empower them in every way we can to be leaders, whether giving their voices as part of a Tiger Streak or in the community project. We have our wonderful middle school students engaged in the community project this year, and that's a new development. It is part of the IB program. It is a requirement to have. So what the community project is, a group of students will come together around a community service idea. They come up with the idea, they research it, they see what the community needs, they develop a plan, and then they put it in motion. At the end of the year, we'll have a showcase. All of our different community service groups from the middle school, the 8th graders, will share what they've done as a group. They'll present, so people will be welcome to come to that and see the different projects that were put in place. And Miranda Hochberg, our school librarian for the middle school, is the coordinator for that program, along with several of our staff serving as advisors to these groups, because all of our small groups need a supervisor to help them manage themselves and make sure that they're moving forward and being productive. So that is a wonderful new way we're empowering our students to lead. I look forward to seeing how that translates into the high school, where the personal project is a requirement for the IB program. So down the line, we'll be talking a little bit about the personal project, and each student will have a personal passion project that they bring forward, that they work on over the course of a year and present on, and we're looking forward to seeing how that comes together. Of course, we have wonderful things like Stage Crew and Gratitude Festival, where our students always shine, build, create, lead, and regional leadership area, All-State, our athletes, our musicians, we're always represented somewhere in ways students shine. So always happy to say that our students are leading too.
Including on the Board of Education.
And
Thank you
including
so
on the
much.
Board of Education. Very proud of these items here, where we empower our educators to lead here and beyond as well. A couple of new leadership positions that we've added this year. Our K-12 instructional specialist is a position, again, not a full staff position, full-time staff position. These are stipended positions, and teachers are going above and beyond in supporting their colleagues and supporting the work of our school district. We have our wonderful Scholastic coordinator, our Foundations facilitator. We have middle years program coordinators, 2 at the middle school and currently 1 at the high school. That's a newer position this year. Kat Schutz is our coordinator there, and we will be working on splitting that position for the following school year, so that there are 2 there, as we have Mary Kay and Stephanie doing that position at the middle school. We have transitioned from a TCIS. I'm not sure I know the full acronym for that. If you give me a minute, I'll be able to think of it.
Therapeutic Crisis Intervention in Schools.
There you go. And instead we're doing Handle with Care. Same concept, but it's Handle with Care is the newer program that we're doing, and Danny Turner is our coordinator for that, which means he trains other staff, and he is the go-to if there is an incident. He is the chief de-escalator, if you will. We have our K-12 community liaisons who you've met before at different events like our holiday potluck. Our Future of Education team continues to work hard. A really exciting development with the Future of Education team is we had a long meeting the other day thinking about our priorities. We're doing the AI work. We continue to talk about AI and the way it's evolving and keeping our eyes on it. But the Future of Education team is more than that. And they've decided as a team, one of the things they'd like to do is start to look at innovative schools. What are they doing? What new practices, promising practices are out there, and how can we bring that back to Putnam Valley? So think of them as scouts. They're going out and searching the world for the best, most promising practices to bring them back to Putnam Valley, similar to how we did with AI. We heard it was there, we saw it on the horizon, we went and researched as a team, we learned about it as a team, we talked about how it impacts Putnam Valley, we developed guiding principles for everyone, or guidance document, if you will, and we shared that with the community, we shared that with our team, and now that is how we are making sure to stay on the cutting edge. So we want to continue to stay on the cutting edge and see what other practices are out there, what other technologies are out there that we are not yet aware of. And we always have our teacher-led workshops both internally and regionally. Teachers lead workshops through the Teacher Center. They lead workshops at BOCES, and they lead workshops internally for us. We have our wonderful K-12 Writing Committee that's done work and presented here before, our K-12 Multi-Tiered Systems of Support Committee, MTSS. Our Culture and Discipline Committee, which I mentioned earlier, is newer and a new addition, and our MYP Community Project Coordinator, a newer role that we added this year as well. We'd love to empower our community members to be actively involved in our school district, and we invite parents to all different kinds of opportunities, whether it's building steering committees. We're working on developing a district advisory committee. We have a district advisory committee, but we're working on gathering more participants to that committee. We continue to develop our parent learning opportunities, and of course, we have our beautiful, wonderful parent organizations that help us in so many ways, from securing Mason to pocketbook bingo to just having wonderful book fairs in our buildings all the time. We're so, so lucky for the involvement of our parents. We thank them so much for being present on our building steering committees and giving their input. We thank them for all that they do, whether it's the small touches of a teacher appreciation event during Teacher Appreciation Week, or an event that they throw for families to not only give them the night out, but encourage them to donate to the school. And of course, we keep our families informed through our newsletters, listening hours, and opportunities to meet with us.
Just, I was going to mention this later, but since we're talking about it now, Jeanette and I and Jeremy met with the new town supervisor and the new town board members to try to not reestablish, but continue the work that we've done as linking our community, town, and school working together for the same goals. So, hopefully that will continue. We have committed, the board is committed to going to every town board meeting and kind of reporting on what's happening in the schools. And hopefully we'll get some reciprocal, understandings from that. So.
It's wonderful. It's a great partnership to have.
I'll ask him later. Never mind.
So in addition to curriculum and instruction, I wear a new hat this year, which is our human resources. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what is human resources at Putnam Valley and what are some of the things that we've been working on this year, things that have always been in place, but wanted to bring them to light to you, and things that are new. Here you'll see just a couple of pictures from our wonderful new employee orientation. As you know, in the past, when we've had this opportunity to bring our new staff to Putnam Valley for a couple of days, this has been such a joy. We invite the board to the welcome breakfast. Folks ride the bus on the bus tour. And this is a real opportunity to not only just bring new teachers to our school district and welcome them, but also all of our employees. So we have all of our employees join us for this couple of day event, and it's a great way to introduce them to all of the folks in our school district. So some of the things that we've been doing and working on this year that are new, we've updated our reference checks. So when principals or other administrators hire someone new, they usually do reference checks on them. So we updated our form to make it a little bit more user-friendly. We updated our CSEA evaluation forms. We were adding a column to give a little bit more description on how someone is performing, so that there was a little bit more that meets expectations or does not. But we wanted to make sure that we could say they were developing. Maybe there's something new they're learning, like how to do the budget, and it's new to them. They're not yet meeting the expectation, but it doesn't mean they're not doing something correctly. So we wanted to make sure there was a distinguishing factor in there, and to give the administrator or supervisor an area and a chance to say a little bit more about that, and say a little bit more about the skills they want someone to develop, and also to ensure that all of those meetings, when they are had between the employee and the administrator or the supervisor, that they are productive conversations, setting goals, meeting those goals, and ways in which they can develop their skills more to meet new goals that are set. I have always done a curriculum newsletter, and we've kind of rebranded it now to a curriculum HR newsletter, because we have so much information in there that's not just about instruction, but also about CTLE requirements, certification requirements, important news and articles, research-based usually, about what they can do instructionally, professional learning opportunities that are open to all, and professional learning opportunities that are instructional only, teach status reminders, just a way to make sure that we're keeping our staff abreast of what's going on in the district that they need to know, what's going on nationally that they might need to know about, superintendent conference day updates and schedules, things of that nature. So we do that every other month. That goes out, and I work with colleagues on that, whether it's asking them for specific information or an article, or something new that they need to know about registering for their certification. We spoke a little bit about a new employee orientation. I think it's important to note that we do intentional introductions and learning experiences so that our newest employees are able to match faces and names. So we have a section of every day dedicated to a different department: business office, human resources, special education, meetings with the principals, whether it's lunch or a round table scenario kind of situation. So we really do intentional learning experiences that are going to guide those folks in welcoming them to Putnam Valley. How do we do things in Putnam Valley? What's important to us in Putnam Valley? And also, who do you need to know in Putnam Valley to get the things that you need done? And then, of course, we have our wonderful Putnam Valley bus tour during that opportunity. So they get to tour their community that they are now part of, and they get to really better understand where our children are coming from, where our families live, what it looks like, what those high roads look like when it's snow day time, and all of those other things in between. So the bus tour is wonderful. Thank you, Sam, for always leading that tour with Mike and Dave. And also our branding. You know, we get to give them things that will make them feel part of Putnam Valley, whether it's a t-shirt that our athletic department donates to us, or a pen with Putnam Valley on it, and a little bag for them to carry everything in. So it's about making them really part of the organization. They get to know it inside and out in that short span of time, and they get to feel like they're part of something big, which they are. And of course, always staying current with laws and regulations, whether it's the workplace violence initiative that the state shared, or mandate that they shared recently, or DESHA's law, whatever it may be, making sure we're staying ahead, staying on top of things, getting our GCN videos out that we need to do every year, making sure people are informed about the processes and policies that they need to be aware of. We had some new innovations this year, ways in which we're recruiting, because we know how important it is. There's a teacher shortage out there. We're really trying to make sure staff are coming to Putnam Valley and know about Putnam Valley. So we're doing a lot of different things to do that. We had an initiative with our library media specialist. We piloted something called an open house, where we sent out a flyer and invited anyone who had an active OLAS account for library media specialist. We invited them to come look at our library, meet with staff, talk to the principal, and we are still working on those types of initiatives, creative initiatives, to get our name out there, to get people looking at Putnam Valley, and to getting people to come and visit us and take a look and consider us for their future. Dana Lopez has been hard at work with social media postings. She is a whiz at this. She makes beautiful postings via Canva. And between she and Jeannie Denike, they are able to post widely things like Handshake and LinkedIn to really get the message out there, let people know the kinds of positions we have available, whether it's a school bus driver or a library media specialist, and really highlight the great ways of working at Putnam Valley. And you'll see that the benefits of working at Putnam Valley is one of our items, because that's been added to our postings lately to really emphasize purposeful employment. We know that the newer generation is seeking purpose in their employment. We know they value that. So we want to speak to that whenever we're looking for a new position. So that is one of the areas in which we are not only leveraging our technology, but also being explicit about how we post for positions.
Yeah, Jackie, I think that's extremely important. One of the takeaways from this presentation this evening is the amount of retirements that we have.
Yes.
Go forward about 3 or 4 years, we will lose almost half of the staff here at the high school. They all started at 2000, and many of them will be 55, ready to go. And we have to be cognizant of that. So whatever you can do, these new innovations are wonderful, and keep it coming, because, you know, as they used to say in Game of Thrones, winter is coming.
Winter is coming, that is true. But I have an answer to that, Sam. So, some of our new innovations include things like total rewards and gratitude meetings. So I'll start with gratitude meetings, because those are another term for stay interviews. If you've heard of stay interviews before, that's when an interview is conducted before someone is exiting, long before they're exiting. It's actually meeting with them to find out, how are things going? How do you like what you do? What can we be doing differently? And so we pose those types of questions. We started with our transportation department this fall. Dave Dave Spittle and I sat together and we met with every member that would attend, and almost all did, every member with the transportation department, and we asked them those questions and we took their feedback seriously. And as a result, one of the things that came out of that is we're doing an intentional training for them during Superintendent Conference Day. Someone mentioned that communication and team building is something they desired, so we're going to have a consultant come in and work with the entire transportation department to develop those communication skills and team building skills. The other thing that's in the works, it's draft only right now, so I really can't show you too much of it, but I want to thank Dan Mahoney for being the mastermind behind this, and Dana Lopez and Alicia Hunter for meeting with him to work through what is a dream of mine. This is called Total Rewards. What I envision is that Dr. Luft will be able to sit down with anyone, and at the click of a button, he can tell them their total rewards package with Putnam Valley. What do they earn in terms of compensation, benefits, stipends, vacation, sick days, whatever it is. He'll be able to click a button, and through a visual, he can show them what their benefits package is with Putnam Valley, their total compensation package. We're still working through it right now. It's not yet ready for prime time, but it is in the works, and I am very excited with all the great work that Dan has done already on it, that it will hopefully be in place before the fall. So when we are meeting with those new folks to replace positions, Sam, I am hopeful that we're going to be able to show them the value of working with Putnam Valley, both in their compensation package as well as everything else in purposeful experience of employment that you receive at Putnam Valley.
No, much better to keep who we have here. I agree with you.
Those stay interviews will be very
But
important.
we have to be cognizant that
That's right.
many people, after 25, 30 years of instruction, it wears on you. It tires you out. I loved it completely, but 35 years I had, and it was time to go.
Sure. So those are some of the things on the horizon
Yeah.
right now. We'll be working on more gratitude meetings upcoming, and the Total Rewards is a platform that we're working on right now.
Have we thought at all about a teacher preparation program for our students to begin to build a pipeline for Putnam Valley?
Absolutely. And we've spoken to a couple of colleges. There are colleges out there that work with school districts, whether it's in dual enrollment classes and those types of programs. And we are continuing to see what our best options are in terms of partners for that, but we're not quite there yet. I know that Manhattanville is a wonderful school that sometimes does professional development programs with schools of that nature. And of course, there's always BOCES that has the Early Learning Center. So while we don't yet have a program, a formalized program in place, it's not that it can't be done. As a matter of fact, the International Baccalaureate Program has its own CP program, career program. And one of those items that we could pursue if we wanted to in the future, one of those areas could be education as the career program. So we're looking into a host of different options, and hopefully we'll have more to report on that maybe next year.
Fantastic, thank you.
And in terms of leveraging our platforms and our innovative ideas, we are, this is our human resources, just a picture of our human resources webpage. We've always had that. We're looking at that to innovate, make sure that it's up to date, make sure it has everything it needs, that it's user-friendly, people can find things easily. FMLA, when folks go out on FMLA, we have an eFMLA platform that sends all their stuff digitally to them. So that is a really seamless and user-friendly experience. We're continuing to work with Frontline to make it a little bit more user-friendly. It's not always perfect, but it is the best program we have that talks to all of our, or almost all of our platforms.
Right.
So we continue to push Frontline to improve their end and their services, and we continue to look at ways that we can use it, whether it's changing a question in a form, removing a checkbox, adding a checkbox, adding a section that didn't exist before where someone could add a comment. Those are different ways in which we're using what we have to improve it, because it does work for us largely. And then at the bottom left-hand corner, we are joining our in-person Mid-Hudson Teacher Recruitment Day. It's an in-person fair, job fair with teachers. And in the past, we've done a virtual one, and we really haven't had the best outcomes from it. We haven't seen the best candidates. Those screenings are 10 minutes and very short, and you don't really get a feel for the person. So we're stepping away from the virtual job fair that we've done annually, and instead we're doing this in-person job fair in March. Questions do you have?
Well, just because this picture made me think of it, and we've got all administrators from all three buildings here, one of the things we discussed with the town was making sure that the new town supervisor and the town is invited to our read alouds, the career fair, like whatever's going on. They may not be able to make it, but first of all, they see what's happening. When we have an awards assembly at the high school, whatever it is, if we invite the town specifically, if they don't come, they don't come, but at least we've done the outreach and they're at least aware of what's going on. So, you know, because I think it's great when you can get the community into the schools like this, so.
Great job, Jackie, and I just want to call out all your pictures.
Thank you. I have to give a lot of credit to Jeannie Denike and Michael Diamore for the pictures I have, but I know that Jeannie and even Dana went into the presentation to make sure our pictures were most up to date and that we had so many wonderful shining examples of all around our district.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just a quick question about the co-teaching. Is that for all partnerships, special education, ENL, everybody?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, we are looking at making sure our teachers of all co-teaching partnerships have the best models and strategies to support students.
Fantastic. I'm just as excited about that mentor plan as you are.
Thank
That
you.
4-year plan is amazing.
So
Great
excited.
job with that. I think that alone will keep teachers in Putnam Valley, because to have such an incredible footing be provided to you, it's just wonderful to see that. So thank you. And then lastly, just a little plug for the steering committee. First of all, if anyone would like to join, please make sure that you look for those emails at the beginning of the school year so you can join. We have wonderful conversations in steering. I am going to lobby just a little bit for the working parents, though, for there to be a virtual option at every school. It is sometimes impossible for us to leave our positions, the things that put food on our tables, to be as involved as we would like to be in. And I love that they're held during the day because we have more teacher participation now, which is great. But it does, for the working parent, make it a little bit more challenging. And so if we could consider that, I think that would be a more equitable way to get more families involved.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all. It's always impressive to see it all up here in our presentation, and I appreciate you all making the time to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great job, everybody.
Good. Thank you. Okay.
I have to go back to my. I just think it's impressive that that our budget planning starts with what's happening instructionally in our buildings. So I thank you, Jackie, for that. Student representatives, what's going on? You got your snow day the last time you called it.
And
So
it was great.
No
and
more.
I slept all day.
No, there'll be no more.
I know. It's getting warmer. It felt like spring out today.
I know,
It's 30
nice, wasn't it?
degrees.
I know, and it's 30 degrees and we all think it's warm.
I loved it.
Oh, your mom yells at you too? That's
She
awesome.
always yells at me to wear a
That's
jacket.
awesome. That makes me feel so much better.
But there's nowhere to, like, we don't go to our lockers, so no one wants to hold it. That's why we don't wear a jacket.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, that's the reason.
Enlightening.
Because we are cold. Even if we don't admit it, we're cold. We had our IB science, we had a group 4. I don't really know how to explain it. It was just like a science day for the IB kids. We like collaborated with the 3 classes, which is bio, physics, and sports med. And we did like a presentation on Wednesday. And then last week we had our Honor Society induction, which is now all combined except for National Honor Society. So that was all done in one night.
That's nice.
And then we hosted our blood drive last Thursday. And then we have spotlight awards tomorrow. And then our girls wrestling team won sectionals, so now they're going to states,
know.
which is
Yeah.
pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Did she leave you anything, Dr. Luff, to report
Yes,
on?
we got some other stuff. So our fourth graders had their winter concert. Many of us were able to attend the afternoon
great.
session because the evening session is actually too crowded to have room for us. But it's always impressive. I have to give kudos to, I won't name, but one student got up there and sang by himself,
I know.
which I
That
was
was amazing.
extremely impressed by. But always amazing to see the students and the sheer number of them that participate both in the chorus and the band. So our students are enjoying both opportunities. Our cheerleaders held their tournament a couple weekends ago, last weekend, which is a huge fundraiser for them, and they used all those funds to bully me into letting them go to Florida for competitions. We had a huge team from North Salem come here and visit. They were curious to see about our high school community lunch program, our block schedule. They've moved to a later start. So a lot of the initiatives we started many years ago here in Putnam Valley are continued to extend out to other school districts around our region. As we mentioned, the Honor Society induction ceremony for English, Math, Music, Science, and World Language was held. The first time we combined it, which our hope was rather than having 5 different 25 to 30-minute long award ceremonies, that we'd have 1 hour-long presentation, and that's exactly what we were able to accomplish. So kudos to the high school and all the coordinators for putting that together. High school held their blood drive for the National Honor Society. As we mentioned, a wrestling team, the girls' wrestling team, won the sectional championship, and we have 4 students advancing onto the state tournament after winning the Section 1 individual championships. That includes Julia DeMichaels, Delina Gritz, Maddie Keeler, and Alexis Keeler. So we wish the 4 of them the best of luck as they continue onto the state tournament. And we have a swimmer, Oliver Rex Wiki, as going on to the state tournament in the 100-yard backstroke. Barbara had mentioned the meeting that we had with the town supervisor and the new trustee, and we're looking forward to continuing to expand the collaboration that exists between the school and the community, working towards one common goal of improving the Putnam Valley community. Westchester Putnam School Board Association sponsored several meetings with state senators and assembly people. Myself and Barbara were on 2 of them today with Senator Harcum and Assemblyperson Levenberg. So we continue to work on our advocacy across the region in hopes of better supporting public schools. Just some updates. We've used 3 snow days so far, and we thank Eliana for making the call last time. So it was very, very impressive. We're working on future plans for the rest of them.
Thank you for announcing that the night before.
You're welcome.
We're all really happy about that.
It took us
Not
2
5:30
hours to get
a.m.
the system to work.
That wasn't my fault,
I know it wasn't your fault. Poor girl had to record the
trying.
message like 3 times. The system was not working. It make you feel any better? It didn't work for our tour at LA either. Poor Mr. Nike and myself were up at 5 o'clock in the morning yelling at the computer. Why it wouldn't work again. So we had mentioned the Lower Hudson Council School Superintendents meetings. I continue to attend those as I take on the leadership position. Our capital project is still up at State Ed through the approval process. So it made through its initial approval. Now it's in engineering, then it goes to fiscal. So we're hoping to get that project approved in the near future so we can issue bids and get it awarded so that some of the work can start this summer. And negotiations with our teachers union, whose contract is up at the end of this school year, are underway and have been productive thus far. Some upcoming events: high school has their Aspire celebration, where we unveil student artwork. That's scheduled for next week on 2/24. And the Young Artists Night, sponsored by Putnam Valley Education Foundation, is this upcoming Saturday, 2/28, or not Saturday, the following Saturday. More than Saturdays ago, 2 Saturdays ago, on the 2/28. And that'll be held at Tompkins Cultural Center. That's it. Thank you.
I will say, at the National Honor Society, the new ceremony, I was very impressed with the handshakes, because I don't know whether they practiced, but they really did shake your hand. Like,
That's great.
you know, we've had years where they
Struggle.
like just, you know, sort of like maybe it was due to COVID or whatever, nobody wanted to touch anybody. But really nice handshakes, students looking you straight in the eye and appreciating you, the awards that they were getting, which they had definitely earned. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge success. I thought it was well-run. Every organization was able to explain its history and its purpose, and every student was recognized within that amount of time. And then, of course, the reception afterwards, it was awesome. It was really good.
Did the students like it? Was it, that it was all, that they didn't have to come back? The people who were in multiple honor societies didn't have to come back with their parents 3 different nights?
I
Or?
think their parents liked it more, but but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there because I was already inducted to them last year, but I would have liked to not have 4 different ones to go to.
Yeah, it was not. It was nice, and they did a really good job. I mean,
I think they
didn't light
that
the
they
candles and that kind of stuff, but
Yeah, they didn't like that they couldn't wear the robes though, because there were so many of them. They couldn't.
enough.
Yeah, there wasn't enough. So,
there
like,
wasn't
they-
enough what?
robes. So like they.
Robes.
Yeah, that's what they always
They'd
do.
fix that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
They fixed it?
It's a good point. So
We need to
okay.
fix that if that's the
Write that
case.
down on your
Got it.
Yeah.
Robes.
Great
Robes.
feedback. It's important.
See?
robes.
That's why you're
Thank
here.
you.
Great feedback.
Love it.
Okay, so we'll move on to new business then.
Yes. Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to amend the previous appointment for Catherine Morgan, who was approved as a 1-year leave replacement special education teacher, and appoint her to a 4-year probationary term as a special education teacher commencing on September 1st, 2025 and terminating on August 31st, 2029 in the 10-year area of special education at the high school on Step 1 Masters of the PVFT salary schedule. Ms. Morgan holds a Students with Disability Generalist 712 initial certification, Students with Disabilities Social Studies 712 extension initial certification, Social Studies 5.9 initial certification, and Social Studies 712 initial certification.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Just a lot of certifications.
It's a little bit of a
Really
unicorn.
impressive. Way to go, girl.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The resolution passes. Number 2, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Alexandra Gagnon to a 12-week long-term substitute position as a general education teacher at the middle school, effective December 15, 2025, through on or about March 13, 2026, or sooner at the discretion of the BOE, at the substitute salary rate of $130 per day. Ms. Gagnon's childhood Ed 1 through 6 and students with disabilities 1 through 7 initial certification are anticipated to be issued shortly.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 3, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Trevor Spadafora to a 4-month long-term substitute position as a math teacher at the high school, effective on or about March 5th, 2026 through June 30th, 2026, or sooner at the discretion of the Board of Education, at the rate of $175 per day. Mr. Spadafora holds New York State Math 7 through 12 initial certification, and also appoint Mr. Spadafora as a substitute teacher at the high school, effective February 9th, 2026 through on or about March 4th, 2026, at the rate of $150 per day.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 4, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint Christina Turner to a 4-year probationary term as a teaching assistant commencing on February 13th, 2026, and terminating on February 12th, 2030, in the teaching assistant tenure area on Step 1 of the CSEA salary schedule. Ms. Turner holds teaching assistant level 1 certification.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 5, please.
Resolved on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to accept the resignation of social studies special education teacher Cole England from the district effective June 26, 2026, as per document 136/26, attached to the agenda and official minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 6, please.
Resolved to set the following dates for action regarding the 2026-27 district budget vote and board election. May 5th, 2026, final budget hearing, 7 o'clock p.m. at the high school cafeteria. May 19th, 2026, budget vote and board election at the elementary school from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 7, please.
Resolved to authorize clerk of the district to arrange and enter into contracts for all voting needs, including voter check-in, poll book systems, to have the necessary ballots printed, and to make other arrangements for the district budget vote and board election, scheduled for May 19th, 2026, as are necessary and appropriate. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Number 8, please.
Resolved to approve the notice of public budget hearing, budget vote, and trustee election for the May 19th, 2026 vote for the Putnam Valley Central School District as per document number 135-26 attached to the agenda and official minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution passes. Okay, so topics for upcoming meetings.
So our next meeting is scheduled for February 26th, and that'll be budget presentations for our facilities and special education departments. So we have 2 presentations, and the following meeting will be March 12th, which will be our first full budget presentation.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to open it up to public comment on any topic.
Oh, tonight's presentation was wonderful.
Yeah.
Check it as
Incredible
superstar.
amount of work happening. It's just great.
I think we jumped into board comments.
Huh?
I said we jumped into board comments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I thought that's what
Okay,
you
There was
said.
no
That's
public
fine.
comments anyway.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
I wasn't admonishing
You're
you. I was
public.
just saying-
I'm
Yes, you
just
were.
saying,
It's
You're part of the
okay.
public.
I'm kind of on
That's it.
high from
All right.
Miss Levine's
Yeah.
presentation.
No public comment tonight.
No, I know.
Wow.
Okay, bye.
Joe?
Board, you okay? Everybody good?
Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of good things happening here.
A lot of
Always.
good,
Yeah.
always, always.
I'm
Makes me
looking forward to
proud.
the Spotlight Awards tomorrow. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I know.
Me
You give
too.
recognition to these
I like
youngsters who
those
really
too. We're gonna
go
miss
above
them.
and beyond in many areas. Cool.
And I'm glad they changed the time of the
Yeah.
Aspire thing, because I couldn't make it earlier, but I can make it now.
1
so-
PM is good.
So, because I always think that's impressive. I always like to hear from the student what motivated them to do their piece. It's just really pretty incredible. All the stories that happen in this school community and community that we don't always hear about, but are so inspiring, so. Okay, so I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.